Welcome on behalf of the Minneapolis Fire Department to this great celebration of these beautiful women here sitting before you. We're here today to honor the first all-woman fire crew in the city of Minneapolis and possibly nationwide. And on the program, it says 30 years anniversary. So 30 years ago is when this crew came together and blazed the trail for many to come. As some of you might not know or might not even realize that in the early 1970s and prior to that Minneapolis Fire Department was all white males. A lawsuit took place that changed that. It incorporated starting with African Americans and expanded to women and to all diversity within the city of Minneapolis. And these women, even though a position has opened, does not mean that it's just easy to walk in and be that first. These women, the first two of them from the very first class in Minneapolis in the early 80s, just 1980, that's crazy. That seems just yesterday. So, but for them to step in that role and take that courage to be the first, to go through the struggles of being the first. Being the first is not easy. So we commend these women, and not only did they come on the department, but they blazed the trail through the promotional ranks as well. Chief levels, promoting to FMOs, deputy chiefs, firefighters, investigators, fire chiefs, to the top level. And as you see, they have their flowers. We're giving them the flowers while they're still here. Thank God. God woke us up this morning, correct? So I am honored to follow behind. You see it, you can be it. These women have opened up the doors for many women and many more to come, and we appreciate them. So with that said, I am going to welcome Fire Chief Brian Tyner.
Welcome, everyone. I especially like to welcome you four, Jean, Bonnie, Mary, and Vicki. It's great to have you here. You know, being the first women fire crew in Minneapolis and maybe even the nation is a landmark event. The Minneapolis Fire Department, we have a long history. We've been around since 1879. Some of that history is very positive. Some of that history, not so much. But this landmark event was one of the very positive events in our history. And so Mel actually stole my line about the flowers, but but what is really special to me is that we're able to do this for you while you're still around, and as Mel said, give you your flowers while you can still smell them. So let's give us all a hand. I would like to take a moment to recognize some of the dignitaries that are in the building today. We'll start with Mayor Jacob Frye. Members of the Minneapolis City Council, Councilmember Chavez. Let's see, I think I see Councilmember Koski. I see Councilmember, dang it, no man, shoot. I want to call you by your first name. I don't want to call you by your last name. Payne, thank you. I was like, I can't call him by his first name. Councilmember Payne, I'm sorry. Did I miss any? Our city coordinator, Heather Johnston, who's trying to hide over there. All right, our Commissioner of Community Safety, Dr. Cedric Alexander. Our, is it Deputy or Assistant? Assistant Commissioner of Public Safety, Jay Wood. Do we have someone from Senator Klobuchar's office here? Senator Klobuchar's office? Do we have somebody from the governor's office here? Oh, and Commissioner Harrington just entered the building. Come on, Commissioner Harrington, I got a seat for you right here. All right, so with that, and I'm sorry I botched that. Please forgive me. But I'd like to welcome everyone. I want you to all have a good time as we celebrate these pioneering women. And so first up, from Senator Klobuchar's office, Ruby DeBellis. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief Tyner. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Ruby DeBellis. I'm an outreach director for Senator Klobuchar. I handle both public safety and women's issues, so this is a very exciting event for me. And she had a change of schedule and couldn't be here, but she wanted me to share some remarks. Dear friends, thank you for the invitation to join you today to commemorate the Minneapolis Fire Department's first all-woman fire crew. Though my schedule prevents me from being with you in person, I am with you in spirit as you honor these trailblazing women. I applaud Captain Jean Kidd, Fire Motor Operator Mary Moan, Firefighter Bonnie Blasacek, and Firefighter Vicki Hoff for being a driving force of positive developmental change and progress, not only for the Minneapolis Fire Department, but for fire departments nationwide. By 2002, Minneapolis had earned the reputation as a world leader with a fire department that included 70 women firefighters, which is 15% of the department. These changes would not have been possible without the example set by the 4 strong, passionate women here today. Today's commemoration is a testament to your knowledge, skill, and commitment, as well as your talent, work ethic, and dedication to public service. I, along with your friends and family, am grateful for your service. As your partner in Washington, I will continue to push for public safety funding so that you have the resources, training, and tools you need to do your jobs. As someone who has worked alongside public safety officials during my time as county attorney, I know firsthand the work needed to protect our communities and understand the importance of your efforts in the community. Congratulations again. I wish you continued success in the future, and I'm proud to serve you in the United States Senate. Sincerely, Amy Klobuchar, United States Senator. Thanks so much.
Next up, we'll have words from Mayor Jacob Frye. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chief Rucker. This is a really special and moving day, and so it's such a great honor to be here to celebrate this 30th anniversary. Looking back at this photo, which you'll see on the cake in the back, you'll see on both the front and back side of your program, these 4 individuals, Jean and Mary and Bonnie and Vicki, they represent courage. They represent people that were ahead of their time. They represent trendsetters. They represent some really awful 1980s/90s haircuts that I see. But most importantly, and in all seriousness, the caliber of individuals that you see up here and that we have presently throughout our fire department is unbelievable. The men and women that serve the Minneapolis Fire Department are an incredible group of people. And the women that have stepped up despite the still rare occasion that they do so, I think shows a whole lot of courage, you know, and I was taking my 2-year-old daughter into, we call it school this morning, and we're passing by a number of fire trucks on the way, which is, by the way, like her most favorite thing in the world. And how proud I would be if she became a firefighter. How proud I would be if she became a police officer. How proud I would be if she stepped up to serve her community in any way and had the courage herself to run towards danger when others would run in the opposite direction. That's what you all represent. And there are so many women that have come after you that stand on your shoulders. There's so many women that have made the decision to affirmatively become firefighters in our department and throughout the country because of the work that you have done. And so, you know, this is not just a shtick where you have an all-women crew. This is meaningful to a lot of people because it represents the opportunity that they have. It represents bucking a trend where women were not sought after nor thought that they had the opportunity to become firefighters themselves. And so this is a historic day. It's one that we should remember for quite some time. It's one that we, by the way, we should repeatedly celebrate again and again to make sure we're expanding on the opportunity that you provided to begin with. We appreciate your work, we honor your legacy, and we look forward to the great work ahead. Thank you so much.
I believe some other dignitaries may have arrived. Councilmember Wansley, thank you and welcome. Next up to speak, Community Safety Commissioner Dr. Cedric Alexander. Thank you.
Thank you all and good morning. And I'm going to be very brief here, but let me say thank you for your service. And all the women have come behind you in examples and the role models that you have set for others. But one thing, when I walked in here this morning that was made very clear to me, and I think it's something we all need to be conscious of and need to be aware of, is that there's a dwindling number of women that are going into fire service, even here in this community. And I think we all should take a pledge to do everything that we can to make sure that the number of women that apply and that are accepted and that go through fire recruit training and have an opportunity to be firefighters, we all have to be very conscientious and very intentional about it. And I think we have to all commit. And I think we all have to commit to that. I'm going to make the commitment to it as the Commissioner of Community Safety, but it's just not a commitment from me. It's a commitment from all of us to make sure that what has been created, your legacy, but doing what is just right, period, and making sure that everyone is represented, and certainly making sure that women are represented in our fire service here in this great city. Thank you.
Next, if we can hear remarks from Councilmember Jason Chavez.
Thank you, Chief. I just want to begin by saying welcome to the 9th Ward. Today, we recognize and celebrate the commemoration of the 30th anniversary of the first all-woman crew here in the city of Minneapolis, in the Minneapolis Fire Department's history. We celebrate Captain Jean Kidd, Fire Motor Operator Mary Moan, Firefighter Vicky Hoff, and Firefighter Bonnie Blaskotchik. Yep. As policymakers, we must seek and develop policy solutions with our fighters in mind every single day, and support and continue to support its investment in diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's important to know that in the early 2000s, our fire department included 70 women. Yeah, 70 women. And right now, we only have 40 women in the workforce. Thank you for serving our community, for your past and current dedication to serve our constituents of Minneapolis, for your support of our beautiful Lake Street corridor, the Phillips neighborhood right here, and determination to protect our residents. Now I'm actually gonna read the resolution, but yes, let's give them another warm round of applause. Whereas the Minneapolis Fire Department was established in 1879, and whereas the first woman was hired as a firefighter by the Minneapolis Fire Department in 1986, over 100 years later. Since then, women have served in all ranks of the Minneapolis Fire Department. And whereas in September 1992, 4 women who were among the early hires made up the first all-woman crew in the Minneapolis Fire Department history. And whereas Captain Jean Kidd, fire motor operator Mary Moan, firefighter Bonnie Blaskachik, and firefighter Vicky Hoff were the crew of Engine 5 in this location right here in Minneapolis from 1992 to 1994. And whereas these 4 women served as a driving force of positive developmental change and evolution of not only the Minneapolis Fire Department, but the fire departments worldwide. And whereas by 2002, Minneapolis was a world leader with a fire department that included 70 women firefighters, 15% of the department. Today, in 2022, there are 40 women, 10% of the department. Whereas, while only the first 17 cadet classes since 1986 did not contain women, 11 of the last 17 did not, and until the most recent class in August 2022, which counted for 4 women among its 23 graduates. The Minneapolis Fire Department had only hired 10 women in the last 20 years. And whereas the Minneapolis Fire Department hiring practices over the last 20 years have not kept pace with the predictable and seniority-based attrition that has contributed and will continue to contribute to the decrease of percentage of the department made up of women. As a result, the department is in clear trajectory to fall below the dismal 4% nationwide count of career firefighters who are women. Whereas the composition of the first graduating cadet class under the current chief, Chief Tyner's tenure, illustrates his and the Minneapolis Fire Department's intention to recruit and hire diverse candidates, including consideration of gender diversity. The August 2022 graduating class had 4 women, and the cadet class scheduled to begin in September 22 will start with 4 women. And whereas the fire's chief's stated goal is to improve the department's diversity, must have the support and efforts of the entirety of the city enterprise. This necessarily an honorable goal will require the city and the fire department to develop specific, intentional, quantifiable actions and policies that improve diversity, including gender diversity. In institutional and organizational practices, including hiring, training, retention, and promotion. And whereas all our efforts to reverse the gender disparity trend should be rooted in an intersectional approach that considers race, class, sexual orientation, and other identities to ensure the culture of inclusion, diversity, and belonging is within the Minneapolis Fire Department, and it is. Whereas the Minneapolis Fire Department should return to trail blazed by the 4 women on the Engine 5 crew and recommit the policies, practices, and strategic investments that will reverse the gender disparity trend, eliminate institutional racism and sexism, and ensure that outcomes and opportunities for all people are not predictable by gender. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and city council do hereby commemorate Captain Jean Kidd, fire motor operator Mary Moan, firefighter Bonnie Blaskachik, and firefighter Vicky Hoff, the first all-woman crew in the Minneapolis Fire Department history, and thanks them for serving here in Engine 5 from 1992 to 1994. Just want to give them a thank you for serving our beautiful community here in South Minneapolis.
Thank you, Councilman Chavez and the City of Minneapolis and the City Council and Mayor Frye and all the constituents for that resolution. That was beautiful and very appreciated. Next up, we'll have words from our Women's Association. So let me tell you a little bit more about these women and the Women's Association. Also trailblazing, coming on the department. One of these women started the Minneapolis Women's Association. Bonnie Blaskacek. Her and a partner started the Women's Association to make sure that we have women that are interested in this job train us to the best of our abilities, as well as changing our physical test to come on the job, to make sure that all the obstacles, unnecessary obstacles and struggles were not included on that test to prevent us from coming on this job. So thank you again, Trailblazer. So we welcome Sherry Wiseman to come up and say a few words on behalf of the Women's Association.
Thank you. I'm a little short. All right. I've been a Minneapolis firefighter for going on 23 years. I've worked at this station for only a handful of times. Station 5 has been a constant busy rig in this busy area throughout the years. Women of all ranks have chosen to make this their permanent spot throughout their career. Whether they like the area for the diverse culture or to stay busy for their firefighting skills and their EMT work, they like to work with each other. Fire Station 5 is known as a place women have migrated to. I have been on an all-women crew for about 4 or 5 years, and I tell you, in a different way, both of my captains have their own way of being strong, demanding, and forceful on the scenes, in the house, and when they need something done, it's done. They don't mess around, and I love it. Captain Shayna York and Captain Noelle Nalesi are great women, and I look up to them. It's been a refreshing change from earlier in my career. We get things done just like the others on other rigs, except we'll get that surprised look from people on the streets when we take our helmets off and step off the rig and see all women. I also had women battalion chiefs in my districts, Chief Kathleen Mullen and Chief Rita Duran. These women ran a fire scene like nobody's business. They make sure everyone is safe at the end of the day. My highest respects to these women. They have mentored me on and off the job throughout my career. We have had many laughs along the way. I also know they've all experienced extreme challenges rising up the ranks over their careers. Thank you for paving the way for the future, along with retired Chief Bonnie Blasacek, retired Chief Laura Pillen, retired Chief Jean Kidd, and retired Chief Cherie Penn. Women's Association. That's how most of us got on this job. Due to the original Women's Association, they went out, recruited us, and then got us all prepared for the physical exam. A couple of times a month, we would go out to the training tower and run through it. Then get great tips from the women on how to improve our times. The main thing was improving our techniques. We were all physically fit athletes. We just had never done these particular activities before. Practicing our techniques was a huge component of getting on this job. This is what the newly formed Women's Association would like to do again. We just started up this year because we've seen the need to mentor the young women and push for more women on the job. The numbers have fallen at a drastic amount from 75 to 35. That's about A third of the women are about ready to retire in the next 5 years. We are committed to helping MFD and the union to bringing numbers back up to where they have been and more. I don't want to hear that women don't want this job. Have we asked them? Have you been asked? I wasn't asked. I wasn't told I could do this job. This job wasn't an option until I was 33, when someone told me that I could do it. So, have you been asked, do you want to be a firefighter? Or do you know someone that wants to be a firefighter? It's been a long and well-deserving road to get to here. We made it. Through all the phone calls, texts, and Zooms, this day is finally here. We honor you, MFD, Women's Association, the union, the community, the city, and our families. Jean, Mary, Vicki, Bonnie, you all made a special impact for women on this job for the future. We have to keep reminding for women on this job for the future. We have to keep reminding them and telling your stories. The doors were not always cracked open for us like they are now. Someone had to kick it to crack it for us. We applaud all your efforts and thank you for facing your challenges and successes with style and grace. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry, for those kind words. Before we move on to the next speaker, I want to tell a little story. Jean Kidd was a captain, and she was one of my training captains when I came on in 1999. So again, it doesn't stop where, they just come on the job. They actually, involved in training us. And like Sherry was saying that, they don't play. So there was there was an instance where we had like the big tiller trucks where someone has to drive the truck. And it's a interesting way to get around the city. It's kind of like driving a boat when you're backing up and things like that. So they had to train us how to drive the back of a tiller truck. And Captain Kidd at that time was out there sitting on the outside of the tiller truck while all these rookies are trying to learn how to drive this truck. And so everyone's done it, and people are coming in like, she was screaming at me. And I'm thinking, like, she didn't say a word to me. I'm like, either you guys are bad drivers and you're scaring her, or I'm just a good driver. I don't know. I think I was just a good driver. I don't know. So, but like I say, don't play any games. They're not having it. Next up to speak, President of the Local 82, Mark Lakowski.
Good morning, everybody. I just kind of wing it, and I'll try to keep it short. It's hard for me if you know me. You know what? I'm honored to be up here with these guys because actually I know all of them pretty well, and I'll just give you this short piece because I consider your friends. In retirements, we obviously don't get to keep up with everybody like we do, but through Facebook and our Local 82 page, we definitely get people weighing in. Sometimes when they shouldn't, but we get people weighing in. But, I didn't get much. She was over at Arson. I didn't have enough time to get to 22s back then, so I really didn't get to visit much with her. But I got to tell you, Mary Moan, very active in the union and definitely had some great political debate with me. And it always ended well. Unlike today, we came to common ground, at least respected opinions, and went out the other way. But Jean Kidd, like I said yesterday, in the community, I still hear today, Mark, you need to get behind that woman. You need to do this. You need to call this and this and this. So I'm sure it's going to continue, and I love Jean, and it's been great. I've been around for 21 years now, so I've dealt with her quite a bit. Bonnie, my good friend Bonnie has been an advisor, a mentor, as Gene, a historian. You come in and a lot of things change and people tend to forget to keep track what was or what wasn't or why this happened. But I'm Bonnie, I get sad, it's been wonderful. I mean, going through some stuff, all of us right now. But so I appreciate that. So like I said, I'm really just, one of the things I try to leave rookies with when I get this spot, so some of the new guys have heard this, a couple years, I just thought, what can I try to give them that they actually take, that isn't canned, it's canned now, but I actually mean it. Maybe I'm getting older and wiser with my kids, but I try to talk about the day they put that badge on, the day they're sworn in at rookie school, how the trust that they've been given by the community, and they haven't even earned it. You just went through rookie school. That's nothing, but you haven't earned anything. But you've got it today from the first day you pull in your driveway and your neighbors see in your uniform. And it's given to you from them, literally from everybody before you that set that up and did it. From what you do for a living, they understand it and they just appreciate it. And like I said, I talk about it, and I mean that. And what I want to say today is not just to female firefighters, but for diversity in general, but today for the female firefighters. If you're on now, if you're coming on, you need to understand that these are the people that just made your life easier today. And you owe it to every woman out there to leave it easier for the people that come after them. So thank you very much. I love you guys. That's it.
And then next up to speak, we have Deputy Chief Mullen.
Good morning, everybody. I am standing here still today after 28 years because, to Sherry's point, someone asked me if I was interested in being a firefighter. So you have to see someone who looks like you to understand that it's a possibility for you. And I'm talking about all aspects of our community. I'm talking about our Somali community, our Hmong community, our Hispanic community, black, brown, women. All of us belong here. All of us have a place. But I want to say just a couple of things that have not yet gotten said today. One, you're looking at a group of women, two of them who never took a promotional test that they did not test number one in. These women didn't just have to be good, they had to be the very best and then some. Bonnie was the first woman fire chief in the history of this department, and to climb to the top of this organization after 128 years was an amazing accomplishment. Jean Kidd was the first woman fire motor operator, the first woman captain, the first woman battalion chief, and the first woman deputy chief on this department. Vicki Hoff was the first woman fire investigator and spent the latter half of her career as a fire investigator for this organization. Many of the police officers here have probably seen her at some point in time, either in court or in their stations. She was known all over the city and all the organizations. Mary Moan was an active part of our union for decades. She was a fire motor operator, and she was a huge voice for the women in this organization in terms of building a relationship and understanding, because we've only succeeded when this is no longer a story. And let's keep it real. The reason this all-woman crew formed is because when Jean Kidd was made captain, there were no men that would work with her. So think about that reality. So I stood on the shoulders of these women and continue to, And these women made the relationships and had the expertise to open the minds of all those good men out there who didn't know any better, that women could be out there and could have a high level of expertise and do all these jobs and were important in these jobs. And then I benefited from all those good men who mentored me and opened doors for me because these women had made it possible. So I want to say thank you over all the years for allowing me to be here, supporting me through all of it. Thank you.
Again, amazing first. Thank you, Deputy Chief Mullen. Next up, Deputy Chief Rita Duran.
I brought 2 copies, just in case I lost one. And for all these eloquent speakers, I'm going to forewarn you, I am not. However, thank you. Thank you. It is so nice that you all came here today to be a part of this. I am just grateful that you showed up here and grateful for your mentorship. Yours, I'm grateful for Kathleen Mullen and her mentorship. I wouldn't be in the position where I am at if I wouldn't have had these women who gave their time, Jean Kidd, who gave her time when she was not even working, to help me to move through the ranks. So I am absolutely grateful for that. Welcome to all friends, to you, to colleagues, and to guests. I am Deputy Chief Rita Duran, and I'm honored to be a part of this historical event. These courageous women are trailblazers. They have labored, clearing the trail so that other women, including myself, could have a hope of acceptance, a hope of camaraderie, a hope of opportunity, a hope of place, and a hope to have a space among the sisters and brothers in the fire service. Each of these women have had their own unique journey. Each of these women are strong in body, mind, and spirit. Thank you for creating a path so that others could follow. And thank you for your hard work and dedication. I have worked with all these women. Jean is practical. She speaks her mind. And she is a driving force that cannot be contained. Mary is hardworking and generous and always plays the devil's advocate. Bonnie is strong and smart and has the ability to weather the strongest of storms. And Vicki is tough-witted, but always makes others feel welcome. The path these women created has been marched by many women throughout the years. They helped open the door, proving that women could be competent firefighters and competent leaders. These women that did not just toe the line, they have excelled, allowing others to excel. In more recent years, the trail has become overgrown and cumbersome with the decrease of hiring in women. I most recently heard from a young female firefighter. She shared her experience with me. It reminded me of my own experience as a rookie firefighter 31 years ago. Why should a rookie female firefighter experience the same angst felt 31 years ago? And here we are today with these brave, heroic women 30 years ago, the first all-female crew in the Minneapolis Fire Department. An extraordinary accomplishment. Let's not let it be for nothing. Inclusion and acceptance come with numbers. Numbers and diversity create balance and equity. Equity provides a healthy environment where all can thrive, both women and men. This might sound funny, but we need a higher number of women so we can stop counting the women. In closing, whew, she is windy. I would like to thank the Minneapolis Fire Department Women's Association for recognizing these outstanding women and making this event happen. I'd like to thank Minneapolis Fire leadership for supporting the dedication. I thank Jean, Mary, Vicki, and Bonnie for sharing their journey and being here today. I have a hope for a new generation of female firefighters. I hope that they can look at the plaque and say, what's the big deal? Because we have enough. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rita. So last but not least, our junior firefighter. She is the lowest ranking. Not necessary. Nope, there's a class after her. There's a class after her. But she is part of the Women's Association, and she is one of our younger up-and-coming women on the department that is going to continue this legacy that we have. Jennifer Hall.
You notice how she just threw that out right away? I am indeed the lowest ranking firefighter. Shout out to the probies behind me who are going to bring me some seniority. Yes, I will help you study for your year test. So, yeah, I'm Jen Hall. What can I say that hasn't been said today? That resolution spoke volumes. Thank you, council member. Since I came on in 2020, there's been 11 women hired, and we're about to lose about 15 over the next 3 to 5 years. And you saw the brilliance that was up here. Rita, Kathleen Mullen, Sherry, I'm about to get emotional. I don't want to, so we're gonna move on. I just wanna say thank you. I just met all of you yesterday, but damn, some history. I cannot wait to learn more, Thank you so much for what you've done. Let's not lose more ground. Let's address the sexism that's still here. There's strength in diversity, and I know that we can do it. So Chief Tyner, Mayor Frye, Dr. Alexander, council members, it's gonna be hard work. We know it ain't easy, but the Women's Association is here, we're ready to work, and we got this. Thank you.
Okay, if I can have Chief Tyner and Sherry come forward. So, and also with this dedication and this ceremony, the Women's Association and the Minneapolis Fire Department are also going to honor these young women. These young women. Yes. Okay, yeah, if you guys can stand. And then Chief Tyner and Sherry.
All right. Yeah, you grab half, I'll grab half. We would like to present you with this bronze plaque. It's not bronze yet, this is a picture, but, but it's being made, that we're gonna put on the outside of the building here to commemorate this event and to memorialize the first all-women crew of the Minneapolis Fire Department. And man, now I'm looking at those haircuts, the mayor.
So the plaque is on its way, and once it is here, as Chief Tyner said, it will be posted on the outside of Fire Station 5 to commemorate the first all-women fire crew. Oh, yeah, they want you all in order. Get in order. Get in order as a picture so we can make sure. We can make sure that's you. We can make sure. That's awesome. All right, thank you. Okay, that's awesome. So I'm gonna say a couple of closing remarks and then I'll have Chief Tyner come up as well. Oh, you guys, yes. Christy, one of our retired firefighters, she would love you guys to come up and say a word or two. Who's coming? Let's go. Okay.
So I'm just going to introduce the story. I'm going to let these guys tell it. So, because it reminds me, it was just the other block. And that's when Mary Moe was at a union meeting. It was one of our first fires. And I was driving, so I was driving out of grade. I wasn't an actual fire motor operator. But I was trained. So I'm going to let them tell the story. You weren't there.
I wasn't there, so I can't, but I can tell the story. I just wanted to say I wasn't there.
Go ahead, buddy.
You get to tell it and I'll say my line.
Okay. So Mary would often leave, as Mark said, she was a union person for a long time, and so it was a few blocks down. It was probably around 5 or 6, so it was fading light. And okay, we get a fire, and Vic jumps in, and she was really good at it. And I just want to say, Bonnie was good at everything except driving. She was the worst driver I've ever been around. I told her, don't ever drive. You're just awful. So we get on the rig, and we're like, okay, this is it. And it sounds, you can tell, anybody who's in emergency, you can tell when it's going to be the real deal versus dry call. So we go down and we turn onto the block, and it's fully involved, and the fire's blowing out onto the, it's blowing out. And Vic's like, where is it? Where is it? And we're like, Vic, it's right there. Where? Where?
No, wait, so.
No. Okay.
So, but when the address comes in like 2427 South Street and 29th Avenue, so I'm trying to find the address.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the addresses, the street corners, where am I? So I'm looking up at the houses, and it's dark. It was dark. Very dark. So I'm looking, and then that's when I said, well, I can't find it. Where's the address? That's when Bonnie said in the backseat, really calm, it's up there where the flames are coming out. and that's the truth. So when you're on an engine, you pull one house in front so the truck can come up in front of the fire, but I stopped right in front. And then I realized, not supposed to do that. So I said something that I'm not going to say here. They're starting to get out, and then I go forward. And then Jean says her typical thing that she said to me throughout my career, Jesus, Vic. Yeah.
That's as my head is snapping back every time she moves, and I'm hanging onto the side rail trying to get out of the rig.
But nonetheless, we were laughing so hard because it was like, what is going on here? And we get out and, we do the fire thing, but getting there was the most fun. So that was our crew.
So, that's story. Do you have another story?
No, I don't have any more. But yeah, go ahead.
I would like to thank the people that organized this and all of the folks that you came. Thanks to the Fire Administration and the I think it's Women's Empowerment Committee that the city has. I don't know if Kate and Tony are here, but I'd especially like to thank Christy Nixon. I played rugby with Christy many, many years ago. She saved my life a couple of times. Yeah, that's right. Then she came on the fire department, and then she became a general somewhere in there. But Christy has been the driving force behind this. She has worked for 2 years to make this day, this plaque, all of this a reality. And in closing, for me anyway, I would thank you to my friends, my family, to these fine women back here who taught me that I wasn't fake, that I really could do this job, and that I could move forward with confidence, because you can be different and do this job and do it really well, and that it's important that you are here as a woman. It's important when we're on scene and people see someone that look like them, that they feel comfort. We're going when people are having their absolute worst day and emotions are high, and it is critical that people feel some sense of comfort, some sense that they belong. I was fortunate enough that I got that just being here with them. And I can't thank you enough, and I can't thank them enough, because without all of it, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have done this job for 32 years. Thank you.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, so with that, I would just like to say that this has been a great event. I think this was a great occasion. But this is not the end. We realize that you becoming the first all-women's fire crew was actually the culmination of a struggle in the beginning of a new struggle. A lot of people have remarked on how the women of this job stand on your shoulders. But the truth of the matter is that we all stand on your shoulders. And we're a better department because of it. So thank you. And thank you.
So in closing, the Minneapolis Fire Department, including myself and Chief Tyner, are committed to continuing the legacy that you all started. We know that change is evolutionary, and we have to change with the way the society changes. To improve is to change. To be excellent is to continue to change often. And we know that the world is changing, and we have to make sure that we ask, do you want to be a firefighter? And we're committed to actively recruiting for the city, for the Minneapolis Fire Department, to make sure that we have diversity as well as gender equity within the city and within the fire department. We appreciate you, we thank you, and we honor you today. And we'll continue to honor you with your images outside, as well as with our actions. Thank you all for coming and celebrating Bonnie Blaskacek, Jean Kidd, Mary Moan, and Vicki Hoff. First, all women fire crew